I will begin with my speech by showing y'all the visual I made, which is a PowerPoint. I printed out hard copies so all the audience members could see it. That's what it looks like. Just scan over it. Okay. And audience members, count off, please. 1, 2, 3,
4, 5,
and 6.
The time has finally come. I've been waiting my whole life to move out into my first place. 2 weeks ago, I signed the lease on my first apartment. It's very exciting, and I'm really loving it already. Getting my first apartment was exciting and easy as it can be for you. There's 3 things I had to consider before getting my first apartment. I had to figure out how to shop for my first apartment, how to get an apartment that I liked, and then what to expect on the move-in day. How I shopped for my first apartment. I started by talking to my friends through word of mouth. After they weren't much help, I ended up going to the internet. I looked at www.apartmentfinder.com. They had reviews available from previous tenants and people living there right now, and they had very helpful information. It was nice to use that tool. What you're wanting to do is to narrow your selection down to your favorites. You find your favorites by looking for certain things. For me, safety was a big thing to consider. I decided price was also very important. The way you figure out the price is by the number of bedrooms and bathrooms available that you need to have. Do you want to live on a bottom floor, a top floor? Because usually, generally speaking, the top floors are a little bit less expensive. Another thing to consider in the price is if you need an attached garage, a detached garage, or a carport. I went with the carport because it was the cheapest. Another problem I ran into was trying to find an apartment that had utilities included. I unfortunately could not find one, but I did find one that had a washer and dryer included, which was a big bonus because it was hard to find one that already had them installed and you didn't have to pay a $10 a month rent on a washer and dryer. So I could afford my apartment, I decided to live with a roommate. It made me feel safer and I got more room for less money. After I found the apartment I liked the best, I decided to do a few more things. I had to visit in person and ask for a tour. When I went on a tour, I did not know I was supposed to bring a driver's license. And I found out at every place you go to, you must bring a driver's license because there's certain criminal histories, backgrounds that you cannot have. Whenever you're driving through the parking lot going to look at your first place, I know I was looking at the neighbors. If they looked like criminals, I went on ahead and turned around. That's something to consider. And also, is it noisy? If there's a plane flying overhead that's going to bother you, you may not want to live there. If there's a train in the background that will bother you, you may want to live there. So make sure you look for things like that because I did and that was very helpful. I ended up getting a very quiet place. After that, I filled out an application. The applications usually, generally speaking, cost about $40 and were non-refundable. The place I'm in right now decided to give me a $10 non-refundable application fee, which was really nice, so that it could hold my spot and only cost me $10 if I changed my mind. All the places I looked at also offered a look-in lease, which is a promotion if you return in your application within 24 hours. One of the big things about finding an apartment I had to consider was the pets. I was bringing my English Bulldog Maggie, and I had to find a place that would allow her to come in. So I had to consider the weight limit, which she's 65 pounds, and the weight limit here was only 100, so she was good with that. And the breed restrictions, they do allow English Bulldogs at almost all places. On the move-in day, there's some things I had to consider prior to actually moving in, such as, do I want to move myself or do I want to hire movers? I decided to move myself because I had time, help, and the time was available for the U-Haul I was renting. The U-Haul, I found the U-Haul at www.uhaul.com. It was base pay plus 19 cents a mile. And I decided not to hire movers, but you may want to hire movers if you do not have time, if you're moving very far away, or if you cannot fit all items in one load. One website I found was www.twomen.com, which may be of some use to you. So on the big move-in day, once I came in my U-Haul truck, I pulled up to the front and I went to the front office and I got my keys for my mailbox, my front door, and my gate clicker. That was very exciting. Also, whenever I went in there, they gave me a walkthrough sheet, which is an inspection that I have to return within 48 hours. Living on your own is very exciting and nerve-wracking, but it's more fun than anything, and I hope this was helpful to y'all to find y'all's first apartment too.